At some point, our ancestors grew too much corn and they're like, hey, I wonder if I could trade this corn for beans. And the bean guy's like, hey, I got extra beans. I could use some of your corn.
Yeah.
Teaching commerce is simply because I come from the first world of commerce, which is America, right? So that's been an advantage for me simply because you're able to teach, and not just for me, it's going to be an advantage for you. Simply being able to teach your experience here in this first world country of commerce, going to not even third world countries. I've go to Australia and their maturity is not the same as it is here in America. So you get to bring your message to an entire world. I don't want you to think about, just your neighborhood, because that's not big enough. I don't want you to think even about just your country. That's not big enough, because what happens here in our country, if you just focus in on the commerce in America, all of a sudden it gets extremely noisy. There's all kind of people teaching the same thing. You're constantly flooded with information and requests for you to buy their beans, right? But when you go worldwide, what happens is you become extremely unique. It'll give you a swath of opportunity that you will be able to push your messaging into, because people around the world are available to you right inside of those social channels. It's available to you for them to get into your world. We have to come together to do that commerce. There has to be a left side and a right side. So what you want to initially think about is how your messaging can be carried, not just locally, but internationally. That's the whole game that we're going to play. We're going to position ourselves as the expert, and that just makes people, want to listen to you. As soon as I start speaking in, let's say, somewhere like Australia or Singapore, they hear the American accent and they immediately think I know more than the guy that's next to him. What is that? Why does that happen? Well, it's kind of an old saying that a man in his own house is not respected, not the way they are respected in other houses, right? It's kind of psychological. It's what your family kind of does to you, right? Sometimes you're like, hey, I got a great idea. You tell them so many great ideas, they don't even value it anymore, right? But you walk outside the door and start talking to your neighbor, and he's like, dude, you're so brilliant, but your wife or your husband be like, dude, will you shut up, right? So that is partially how we will help you set it up so that you are differentiated, because you're not just talking to the people in your own house, because it's noisy in your house. Everybody got an idea. Everybody's doing what they're doing. But when you go outside, people want to sit and listen. Community starts with commerce. Community starts with commerce. Once I start talking about talking to the bean farmer, he starts asking me about my corn. We go back and forth. Suddenly, we have a relationship that didn't exist before. We're simply doing commerce. So commerce builds community. Community requires commerce. I really think community requires commerce. So in essence, in your 36 days to freedom, we're going to identify who your audience is, why they're important, who the avatar is to speak to. If you're speaking to somebody in another country versus speaking messaging here in the US, how do you position that and why you want to do it? But just start thinking about how commerce is worldwide and not just in your home, in your backyard, here in America. There's so much opportunity around the world. Don't compare what you're doing to the guy right next to you that's only trying to get his message out to the United States or to your state. We're going to go worldwide. All right, for now, I'm out of here. 36 days to freedom, baby. Peace.
Woo. I do not feel no pressure, I just put in extra effort. I do not feel no pressure, I just put in extra effort. I do not feel no pressure, I just put in extra effort. I do not feel no pressure.